Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Have you ever gone to Burning Man? I haven't. I don't know if I really ever will, but I can live vicariously. The good news is, if I were to go to Burning Man, I would be able to communicate with other people who also happen to be at Burning Man, thanks to these people, that two of whom I've pulled in on a Google Hangout, and one of whom happens to be calling in by way of phone through one of these individuals' Google Hangout. And who you're seeing right now on my screen in this just amazing getup. I think you look like you're prepared for Burning Man there, Jose.
I've been in training. Been in training for the last couple weeks.
You almost look like a Lego minifig that I have. Almost. Is that a lampshade that you have, or is it something a bit more cultural?
It's a rice paddy hat that we've kind of sewn a few different patterns into, and just kind of join in on the festivities.
And that's what Burning Man's all about. Now that is what Burning Man is all about, right there. And then, of course, hopefully this is no stranger to my audience, Johnny Diggs. He was at Gnomedex 10 this past year, where he pretty much announced Geeks Without Bounds, and it's still going strong.
Yeah, actually, I guess it was about this week last year that I got on your stage and first talked about using collective geek power to help people in times of crisis.
And that's where you met Willow Blue, and I guess she is the a cohort in that battle?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, just pure coincidence, I met Willow as I was walking on the stage. She had talked right before me. And I shook her hand, and we ended up sitting next together at lunch after I gave my talk, and we've been pretty much talking ever since. And she's now the director of Geeks Without Bounds. She's flying back from the Chaos Computer Camp over in Berlin, where she hung out with a bunch of hackers for the last couple of weeks. And she'll be in Seattle for a short time before she heads out to Burning Man to help with this project.
So I don't know if you'd be able to provide a better introduction to David than I could, and really set the stage for what it is that y'all are doing at Burning Man.
Sure. Well, this is nothing new for David. This is the first time we've helped him. Actually, last year I talked with David on the phone while he was driving to Burning Man, just kind of what we have him on the phone right now, about OpenBTS and what they were doing. It was too late for us to do anything last year, but we kind of talked about how we could do it. And then this year, as Burning Man approached, we got together with David and said, "Hey, how can we help you make your stuff, even cooler?" And David is one of the developers of OpenBTS. It's an open source GSM stack that lets you use a GSM phone without a traditional teleco network.
So I'm going to give David a call here and pull him in by way of phone, and hopefully the audio will translate well enough, and he's going to explain exactly what's going on his end, as well as really explain what's behind OpenBTS in this construct. David?
Hello.
Hey! Glad to see you again, kind of. As I set the phone close to the microphone. So could you explain OpenBTS to us again?
And I apologize for all the background noise here. This truck rattles all over the place. But what OpenBTS does is it takes a 2G GSM handset and presents it to a voice-poor network as if it were a generic SIP client. A SIP client that supports speech calling and page mode text messaging. So to the GSM handset, the OpenBTS system looks like any other GSM operator, and to the VoIP switch or VoIP network, the GSM handset appears as just any other SIP endpoint. So to me, it's like really simplified IMS. Is one way to think of it. If you're coming from a telecom background, if you're coming from a voice background, it's just saying, yeah, we're gonna make cell phones look like SIP soft phones. That's pretty much OpenBTS in a nutshell from a technical standpoint. There are a lot of advantages to doing it that way. It makes it really easy to build a network in a box because you can use something like Asterisk or FreeSwitch as your voice switch. You can use simple, SQLite database as your subscriber registry. You don't need an HLR or base station controller or mobile switching center or any of that other stuff.
So
our networks are really lightweight like that.
now, David, has anything like this been tried at Burning Man?
Well, we've used Burning Man as our test bed this is our 4th year out there. The first year we had a base station that was so crude that it didn't even have a box. It was just a bunch of components laid out on a table. This year we're a lot more, we get more and more sophisticated every year. This year we're going to run a four cell site network. 2 of the sites are running out of vans with push-up masts. One of the sites running out of what the military would call a man-portable mast. And then the third site's running off of a normal, steel truss mast. And we're setting that network up in cooperation, as Johnny said, in cooperation with cooperation with Voxeo. And then a lot of our network infrastructure on the ground in Black Rock City is being done in cooperation with a telemedicine services company in San Francisco called MedWeb. So, for example, MedWeb we're using a MedWeb satellite band. That's what I'm actually driving right now. To backhaul our network through satellite.
So,
Another question for you. When you're on the playa, do you have to be naked in order to use this network?
Can you repeat the question a little louder?
Do you have to be naked to use this network?
You do not have to be naked. I don't know if it actually helps or not. It's not necessary. We do provide these Papa Legba stickers that you can put on your phone. I'm absolutely certain that putting a Papa Legba decal on the back of your handset improves performance.
Wild. So, how many years have you been going to Burning Man? Has it just been the 4, or things preceding?
This is our 4th year. This is my 4th year going to Burning Man as well. So it's the 4th year to run OpenBTS systems at Burning Man. It's my 4th year to go there personally.
Fair enough. Well, I'd hate to keep you from anything. Are you on your way somewhere?
What's that?
Are you on your way somewhere? You say you're in a van.
Yeah, I'm driving one of our satellite trucks, one of the MedWeb satellite trucks that we're going to be using to Burning Man right now. So I'm actually on the highway. I'm on I-80 in Folsom right now.
So how important would you say? I mean, see, you've done this for about 4 years. How important would you say this type of communication is for, I guess, a smoother operation of not just operation, but I guess a Burning Man experience?
Culturally, that's actually a controversial subject because for the last 2 years, not only have we been out there running an experimental network, but a company called ComNet Wireless has been out there trying to run a commercial service, a normal commercial cellular network. And it's controversial. I mean, a lot of people who are at Burning Man, they specifically don't want to be around them. They specifically want to be out of touch. They don't want people to be able to call them. They want a good excuse to be on the dark side of the moon. Well, we don't really buck that so hard because usually, the way our call routing is set up for most people is they can't receive inbound calls from people, they can't receive inbound calls anyway. At least they couldn't last year. This year with Voxeo, they'll be able to receive inbound calls, but only from people they've already called before. So you have control over that. So
let me get this straight, and I don't know if Johnny or Jose want to jump in here, or Diggs, that's his nickname, Diggs. How exactly does this work? So what David said is that you could call people who've already called you or already on the network, and if I understand it correctly, this communications network is just for people who are at Burning Man, correct, Diggs?
Yeah, primarily it is.
I can take that answer.
Okay,
Yeah, go
Jose,
ahead.
sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I said something that may have been confusing. When I said receive calls from people you've only called before, I was referring to calls with the outside world. Within the network, locally on the playa, yeah, sure, people just call each other.
And there's no cost necessarily associated with what you guys are setting up for Burning Man, correct?
No, not at all. It's a free service.
So this theoretically, how would it work, or how will it work? If say I bring my phone with my number into the system, is it still the same number?
It's actually pretty neat the way it works. So basically, David is going to set up his mobile infrastructure over on the playa, and there are really 4 antennas that provide coverage for the entire playa. When you roam into Burning Man, it's just like roaming into another country. So usually when you roam into another country, you'll have the local carrier will have a sort of deal with your U.S. carrier, maybe AT&T, Verizon, what have you. In this particular case, there is no commercial carrier. We basically own the entire spectrum for that area. So when you roam into our network, we'll push a text message to your phone and we'll say, hey, welcome to Burning Man. What do you want your number to be? And some people may choose to pick their same 10-digit number that they have in their US, so that way their friends can call them. But other people may choose to just come up with some funky 10-digit number that isn't theirs. So we basically open up the network. You can pick your own phone number and basically just kind of craft your own identity while you're doing that as well. So I think that's part of what adds to the charm. You can get disconnected if you want, or you can pick your same number and have your buddies call you on the playa.
And so do you expect, and since this really hasn't been done yet, do you expect more people to use, like, say, the phone as voice, or using their phone as a communications device and then using texts? Or are there any expectations?
Well, we expect texting to be very popular. As you would expect, at an event like Burning Man, it can get pretty noisy. Coverage can be pretty spotty, and people, being a clothing optional event, people don't always have their phones on them. So texting is probably going to be the most popular method.
Well,
there.
they might have their phones
we have
on
a few
them.
apps that we built.
Yes, a few apps.
Right. Well, we built a few apps. So not only can you text each other or call each other, but we've also built some really cool apps this year. We actually have a server that we're deploying on the playa along with all the OpenBTS gear, and it's a Tropo server. And basically, we've built some applications on top of that. One of them is a group texting app, so people will be able to kind of create groups. So I may meet like a couple people while I'm at the playa, maybe waiting to take a shower or something, and we can exchange phone numbers and create an SMS group texting group. And then for the duration of Burning Man, we now have this number that we can use to communicate with each other. A la GroupMe or WhatsApp or stuff like that. We also have a voice board. So all the theme camps will basically have a number that they can use to leave voice messages for each other. So if you need more ice at the camp, or if you're running out of water or any kind of supplies, you can leave a message for your campmates, and everyone in the camp can call into this number and listen to basically the voice panels for the camp. And we have 2 or 3 other apps that we're putting together as well. We're running out of time, but I'll be posting stuff on my Twitter feed and as we go along, and also on the Papa Legba wiki as well.
Now, before I move on, Jose, I have to ask: is this normal attire for you, or is this special? Diggs, you're laughing.
Like I said, I've been in training. The more I read about Burning Man, the more worried I get.
Oh, so you haven't gone?
So, I'm trying to I'm trying to channel a burner here.
Okay, so I have to ask a question. This is for Diggs to tie into the Geeks Without Bounds idea. It sounds like what Voxeo is enabling here could very easily be used in a variety of emergency situations. Am I correct?
Well, that's what got me really excited about this project is that when you take something like Voxeo's speech servers that do speech recognition, they do text-to-speech, they do multiple languages support, and you can build applications on top of them, and you connect it with a mobile network like what OpenBTS network that they're setting up at Burning Man, it doesn't take much to be able to connect the rest of that to some sort of crisis mapping infrastructure like Ushahidi, and suddenly you've got sort of a crisis communications in a box that you could take somewhere where normal communications have been taken out for whatever reason, whether it's a disaster or politics or violence or whatever, and set one of these networks up and allow people to communicate via this network that is not connected to any individual telco. And you may want that for, like I said, a variety of reasons. The nation telco might be out. That's what happened in Haiti, is that the entire telecommunications infrastructure just was decimated. If you had something like this, you could set up, you could very quickly get people on the ground communicating to find out where who needs help, what supplies need to be sent, where not to go, where there's violence, where it's dangerous or whatever. And so I see this as a great test bed for that. And we've gotten a lot of interest from other organizations as well that are looking at this system.
Yeah. So we should probably stress, Chris, that this technology isn't and the infrastructure from David and the OpenBTS guys. This is pretty tried and true stuff. Their bread and butter is going into like coal mines and large ships, oil rigs, basically remote areas, and basically they make a living deploying portable mobile networks to these remote areas already. So we're basically just helping them extend that, add basically applications and additional capabilities, and hopefully at some point we can package that up into, like Diggs said, some sort of crisis response package. So small countries or developing areas could just order an emergency kit and we can drop ship it, and they can have communications back up pretty quickly.
So David, if you're still with us.
Yeah.
Great. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about OpenBTS. How long has it been around?
Let's see. I think the idea of OpenBTS started in 2007. The actual coding started in mid-2007. We made our first phone call by the end of 2007, and we made our first public release in October of 2008. And since then, we've also formed a company, Range Network Incorporated, to build commercial products based on the OpenBTS stack. So the systems we're bringing out now, systems we're running at Burning Man, unlike previous years, these systems were not built in Arvin Samra's, my partner, were not built in Arvin's living room. They were actually assembled by a professional technician in our facility in San Francisco. So it's a big step up from previous years.
So how are you connected right now? Are you calling over OpenBTS or a traditional carrier?
You mean for this telephone call?
For this phone call specifically.
No. I mean, the equipment is all stowed in the van right now. I'm just using Verizon right now. Once we get out on the flyer, we're gonna set the system up. We'll probably have our first site working early tomorrow because we did a good shakedown test. We did a good shakedown test before we backed the truck up. So we'll get out on the flyer. We'll deploy the satellite antenna. We'll raise the mast. We'll flip on the equipment, and it should all just work. We brought about 250 really inexpensive Nokia C1 handsets to pass out at party favors. we are going to be running this network in the GSM 1800 band. That's the band that's not normally used for cellular service in the United States. So people would need quad band phones. These C1s were mapped out for GSM 1800. So they're just unlocked, low-end, off-the-shelf handsets.
How do you plan on?
Anyway,
How do you plan on powering all this stuff, or at least not running out of power for the duration of Burning Man? Because I can't imagine this is,
we have 4 sites that are going to be powered in 4 different ways. We have 2 sites that are basically cell on wheels prototypes that are built in, they're built in communication stands with push-up amps. And those sites are, one of those sites is going to be generator powered, and the other one's going to be solar powered. Then we're going to have a very small microcell site that's a model of a system that you might deploy in villages or developing world. That site's going to be completely solar powered, and then we're going to have our own camp where we're going to be running the 4th site, and our camp is going to be run by a mixture of solar and wind power.
wow, you guys are trying everything this year.
What's that?
Yeah.
Sounds like you're trying everything, David.
I'm sorry, you have to repeat that. I'm really having trouble hearing, Scott.
It's okay. I think we're about ready to wrap up here. Have a safe journey and a good time at Burning Man, David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Johnny, just to kind of wrap up. Wait, is it Johnny or just Diggs or Johnny Diggs?
Diggs is what seems to be default now.
Okay, Diggs.
I made the migration from John to Johnny to Diggs.
Have you done Burning Man before?
I have not, and I actually was originally planning on going this year, but my schedule made it so I can't. So Willow is going, and she's going to be helping set up and wrangle some geeks to test out some of the apps that are being developed. And Jose is going for his first time. My plan is to go next year after they figure out all the things not to do.
And then you step in.
I'm sending in Jose and Willow to figure it all out for me first.
Now, are you going to be posting? Are you going to be posting updates, like video updates?
We'll be updating constantly. Jose is going to be sending us pics, and we'll probably, if we're successful, like we think we will be, we'll be able to make some phone calls. Maybe we'll give you a call have Jose give you a call from the playa.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I'd love to see a Google Plus hangout from the playa.
We can see if we can do that.
I want to have the first Google Plus hangout from the playa, even not being there. I'll even sit here naked if you need me to do it.
No, that's not incentive, Chris.
Can I say something real quick before we wrap up?
Yes, sure, David.
I just want to say I'm really looking forward to working with Voxeo. I mean, it's been good so far, but I think we're going to have a lot of fun once we get out there. We've been looking for a good partner to try to do some really creative things. If you had a private cellular network just to play around with, what would you do? Kind of question. We've been looking for somebody to play around with this stuff last couple times we've been out here, so I'm really looking forward to having somebody out here of that mind to work with. I'm really looking forward. This thing is going to be a lot of fun for everybody.
Well, I'm glad you guys were able to come together to make something happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I will, like I said, enjoy the festivities remotely. Burning Man is one of those experiences that I have a feeling I would much rather experience from the safety of my home office.
Yeah. So and if anybody has any questions, I actually just put a little bit.ly link together that has a point, and that points to a blog post that has some more information. And that blog post also has a link to the Papa Legba wiki, which has all the information about what kind of equipment will work on the network, what you have to do. Sometimes some phones you're going to have to unlock. There are some tricks that you're going to have to do. This is a licensed cell network, experimental cell network. So we did get a license from the FCC to set this up. So But if they go to bit.ly, bit.ly /Burning Man 2011, they can get more information there.
You guys are always on the bleeding edge. Voxeo always seems to be, like, if it's voice over IP stuff, you guys are pushing the envelope. You guys are almost creating the envelope and then pushing it.
We are in the envelope business, yes.
Packets, you are, you know, sending... Was that too much of a stretch?
I think we just came up with a new slogan for Voxeo Labs. We're in the envelope business.
Yes, fair enough. So, anything else, Jose?
No, just looking forward to getting out there, having a good time. If you go to the link that Diggs just shouted out, on that blog post is a link to my Twitter feed, and we're gonna have some internet connectivity, so I'll be posting pictures and short videos and just info from the playa as it goes along, and we're also going to try to throw together a stats page showing how many calls we've taken in real time and how many SMSs we've handled.
Oh, nice.
That kind of stuff. So.
That's pretty. I'd like to see that. That'd be a nice counter to watch.
Yep.
Always curious to know how people are using technology, and I got to thank everybody for joining me, whether you're on the road or dressed up or not dressed up or not dressed at all, really. Although I'm glad we didn't go into that part with the Burning Man. If you are going to Burning Man, you know you can talk to David there on the playa or Jose, and Jose will be easy for you to find. Assumedly, he would not be. You might not be the only one dressed this way. Maybe like 5 other people show up looking like that. I would not be surprised. Everything I've heard about Burning Man. But if you have any other questions related to what might be going on with Burning Man and communications, you now know who to talk to. Voxeo is it. Thanks, David, and thanks for all your efforts with OpenBTS.
Okay, well, thanks for talking. Thanks for asking.
No worries. Thank you.